Good evening, SFL fans, and welcome to the west coast of the frozen north. That's right, we're in Canada tonight for a divisional matchup here between the Los Angeles Lycans and the Vancouver Legion. Vancouver off to a flying start in the league so far this season, 3-0. LA coming in at 1-2, looking to try and stamp their playoff ambitions on the division here. Brandon Walters in the booth with you tonight alongside Jesse Fretz. Jesse, how are you doing tonight?
You know, the head coach of this Los Angeles Lycans team, and one Sully Richardson, he has one job. He has just one job, but it's a really hard job. And that's beat Vancouver on their home turf. And all the signs are saying that it should be a gimme, right? They're 8-0 at home against LA. They're number one in everything offensively. They're the gold standard, but there's a reason we play the game, and games aren't played on paper, they're played on grass. I'm ready for this one, and let's have a good time.
Exactly. This should be a really exciting matchup here. We've got two teams that I think are going to interplay in a lot of fun ways. As you mentioned, Vancouver unbeaten at home across the story of this matchup. They're 8-0 at Canada Field, and they've won the last 10 games as we kick off here at Canada Field. And LA will get the ball first, returned out of the end zone and brought down to the 25-yard line. Bubba Tree. That will set up Sully Richardson, the quarterback for the Lycans, and he's going to bring out his offense for the first time tonight.
Absolutely. Anytime you can take it out, you're thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to get hit and not get much, get as much past the 20 as you can. That was a good return.
Sully's been off to a decent start so far in the league this season. 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Only 3 sacks. That puts him second in the league. That offensive line's been doing a good job protecting their quarterback. They'll set up in the I Twins here, 1st and 10. They'll run it up the middle there, and not much sledding room there for Darius Iniguez, the halfback for the offense. We'll run you through that offense for the Lycans real quick. Quarterback Sully Richardson. Halfbacks Darius Iniguez and Ace Ketchum. Fullbacks, there's 2 of them, Tom Thickey and Dan Curtis. Wide receivers, Bubba Tree, Joseph Bodette, Elsie Pryor, and Chris Lee. 2 tight ends, Adam Grabowski and Jack Flash. And we'll get you the line right after the second down. Carry Iniguez stuffed again after a gain of only 1 yard. That line, Oren Wildies and Bob Wataska at tackle, Damian Robichaud and Hunter Wataska at guard, and the center, Alteus Wildies. Tough sledding so far for this run game. They've got 1 yard and 2 plays, and they'll come out in the 5 wide. Richardson looking to throw over the middle there. Pass caught, but well short of the first down mark. A nice tackle there by number 27, Mark Lopez, a strong safety.
And that's one of the aspects that makes this Vancouver defense really good. They are leading the league in a very particular stat right now, and that's yards not allowed upon contact. Usually where they hit you is where you go down.
Those coaches, I'm sure, drilling those fundamentals in, get their arms around, waist-height wrap-up tackles there as Bear will bring the punt to the 35, and LA taking a quick 3-and-out to start this game off. It'll bring out the Legion offense. Christian Brown coming out to continue his stellar start to the campaign.
Definitely, for sure. We're going to see what happens here and then introduce these fine folks on the field.
First down, bunch set to Brown's left. He will pass. 4-man rush for the Lycans. They'll go over the middle there, and that's his big tight end target. Number 85, John Michael Sudduth there for the first catch and first down of this one. And we'll walk you through that Legion offense. Quarterbacked by number 4, Christian Brown, who's off to an excellent start as always in the league. Devin Lloyd and J.W. Doyle and Jalen Wells in the backfield there. Nick Lockett, D'Angelo Lopez, Brett Killian, and Ezekiel Bear are your wide receivers. Tight end John Michael Sudduth with the catch. And a full line, Gregory Winnell and Frank Burks at tackle. Guards, Mango S. Moody and Zach Turner. And the center, Oliver Couch. As they'll come straight back out in the bunch formation here. First down, they'll pitch to that right side. Jalen Wells trying to find some room and will pick up a nice 5-yard gain.
God, you love when you can get yards that way, right? Line cuts out, flip it outside to your halfback. Just a very simple, hey, anytime you get more than 4 yards, that's a win. That's a big win for your running game.
Wells so far been the odd man out in this backfield. Both of the other backs have over 200 yards rushing already on the season, whereas, Jalen Wells has only had 22 carries for 65 yards coming into this one. Brown will take the snap out of shotgun on second down. Sudduth wide open there. Manages to walk the tightrope on the right sideline and gets a nice chunk of yards before he goes out of bounds. Look at the big man doing his best Swan Lake impression.
And for a big man, he's everywhere in the field. They're able to get him into space. Right now, Christian Brown is leading the league in completion percentage just by being able to stay in the pocket, stay poised, and find those playmakers out there.
It also helps that he's taken the least amount of sacks so far this season. He's only got 2 on the year through 3 games, which has got to help your numbers out here as they'll pitch. Left side again, Wells trying to find that room again. This time doesn't get as much there. Nice tackle made by Greg Ward, the outside linebacker for the Lycans.
Yeah, not taking a lot of sacks as a quarterback. It also helps with waking up, getting around the house, moving up the stairs.
Got to avoid those aches and pains, huh?
Oh, you're not kidding.
Brown looking to pass there. Oh, what a catch. Ezekiel Bear gets up the top of his ladder there and brings that one in for another first down. And I think we've got to immediately talk about this wide receiver core here for Vancouver because it's absolutely spectacular. You've got Nick Lockett and Brett Killian, one of the greatest 1-2s in league history. And you've also got Ezekiel Bear and D'Angelo Lopez, who are 2 great young players. And you've got John Michael Sudduth on top of it. It's full of weapons.
You really do. And you've got an offensive line that you give Christian Brown time, he will carve you up real nice.
We're going to have to see how much pressure LA is going to try and bring here. They'll only bring 4. There's the pitch to the left side, and that one only gets about a yard there for, I think that was, J.W. Doyle. An unfortunate run for his first of the evening. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, that's a big dynamic to only get 1 yard out of that. But like you said, they've got many different ways to attack a defense.
Shotgun again here, 2-by-2. Look at Sudduth on the left side, but they'll pitch out right there. Devin Lloyd trying to find the end zone there. He wants to keep up the momentum from his great performance last week against, I believe it was the Renegades, but he'll only get a couple yards there.
Well, they've got a very physical front 7, right? They've got tough pass rushers. They've got strong and fast linebackers. So if they can get a hat on you, they can bring you down.
It was the Warriors, actually, not the Renegades, but he had a fantastic time last week. That pass just out of the reach of Nick Lockett there. And an unfortunate series of events. A good stand by LA, though. They'll hold him to just a field goal try here.
Well, that's going to be crucial. Anytime you can keep them out of that end zone, it's going to be all about getting turnovers. It's just like playing a chess master. You've got to play solid chess, find out when they blunder, and then attack and capitalize on those shortcomings.
Kick there, chip shot for chance to win, and he will put it through the uprights. Vancouver taking the early lead in this one. Halfway through the first quarter, it is Vancouver 3, LA 0. And the ball is going to come straight back to this Lycans offense that went 3 and out on that first drive. Jesse, what do you think they've got to do to try and get moving here?
Yeah, to get moving here on offense, they have to start really creating running lanes for their running backs, and they have to start just blocking a lot better for the quarterback. You just have to focus on doing the good football the way you do the good football. Just stick to the fundamentals.
Shree puts a shoulder in someone to get up to the 28-yard line there. And I had a chat with head coach and quarterback Sully Richardson before the game here, and I asked him about the fact that Chris Lee has been by far the #1 receiver on the offense here. And he said, it's a group effort. And although Chris is playing very well for us recently, we really need all the guys to step up and make sure that they are in place to make the plays at the critical moment here. So we might have to watch some of these other receivers, Elsie Pryor, Joseph Bodette, see if they can get them involved in the game here. As Sully will go to the split back set here. That's Bodette in motion to the right side. 1st and 10. Vancouver with a lot of people in the box. They'll run it up the middle, and Iguez, really not much room there. Vancouver collapsed the box very quickly there.
Well, you mentioned what they're going to have to do, and I think they're going to have to get a little more creative. This hardcore, just physical, guttural, leather helmet style football isn't going to work for them right now. They need to open it up.
Especially when you've got Jack Russell patrolling in that strong safety position back there. He is primed to lay a big hit out on a running back. As they'll motion their running back out of the backfield there. That's Ketchum going out to potentially receive a pass there. Nice pass caught by Adam Grabowski, number 85. The big tight end getting his first catch of the game.
That happened because there was a blitz that left, an extra hat out there open with the poise here. Just a little nice lollipop throw over the top. What you love about throwing to a big tight end like Adam Grabowski is that they got a big body, they got big arms, they got a long reach. And when you see that as a quarterback, you're going to take that matchup, just throw it where they can get it. Pick on the little guy trying to keep up.
He's pretty fast, too. I mean, he blew past, Drew Hamilton, who is no slouch when it comes to speed, that's for sure. Richardson, again, right over the middle there, and again connecting with his wide receivers. There's Chris Lee's first catch of the game, and I'm sure he's going to want to stay involved in this one. He's got 22 catches so far this season. That puts him second, I believe, fourth in the league. But his 350 yards are second, and he's got 3 touchdowns, which has him currently in pole position in the SFL.
Not a bad position to be in.
I'm sure he won't
complain. Number 1. Yeah,
Iniguez trying to find some room on the B gap there, but really just not much to be found. Drew Hamilton with the tackle. We'll walk you through that Legion defense now, starting with the line. Kevin Brackett and Achilles Papatonis are your ends alongside Chris Joseph. The sole defensive tackle, Gerald Giudice. Linebackers, Josh Farnsey, DJ Woods, Marquise Reed. Corners, Emmanuel Blackman, Michael Lister, and Ron Hoff. And the safeties, Jack Russell, Drew Hamilton, and Mark Lopez there, as Blackman could have had his hands on that one, doing a little bit of a pirouette, but unable to locate that football. But it will be 3rd and 9 now for the Lycans offense.
Yeah, it was hard for him to set his feet on that one, and the coverage was real tight. And you've got to be able to get that ball in the hands of the playmakers that can get their feet set and keep it going.
Back in the 5 wide set here, only 3 down linemen for the Legion defense. They'll move a linebacker in motion. That's Farnsey. So watch for the man coverage here. They'll go to that exact same route they tried last time, short of the sticks again. And again, they're not able to make the connection there with Elsie Pryor. And it's going to be another 4th down for the Lycans. They'll have to punt and hope to pin the Legion back deep in their own territory.
Yeah, hopefully so. Because their safeties, Jack Russell, Drew Hamilton, Mark Lopez, are also really exceptional at pass coverage as well. So they're like cornerbacks in the same. So you can send extra blitzers, send extra pressure, and still know that you're going to get coverage on those receivers.
Solid punt there, not going to be returned. Takes a nice Lycans bounce and out of bounds at the 5. A nice punt there will push the Legion back deep into their own territory, or you might not be so comfortable in running that shotgun now if you're Vancouver.
Not really. And Vancouver has a pass rush. We might see a safety dance here tonight.
You never know. You never know, as they'll come out in the bunch again here. 1 back behind Brown under center. 4 on the line for LA, but they're crowding the line of scrimmage here. And a nice tackle. Anthony Wyo, the corner, puts the hit on Jalen Wells and takes him down for a loss of 1.
Yeah, people forget that this team also has really good run coverage. Their safeties are very good at protecting against the run as well as the pass.
Anthony Wyo, the 2-time All-Star, coming over from Atlanta in the offseason. One of only 3 pickups in the offseason for this Lycans team. It's a roster that hasn't really changed much from season 24. Brown will pass. Lots of pressure brought there, but he gets it off in time, and Bear down the field on the streak brings it in. 1st down, and now if you're Vancouver, you got a lot more breathing room.
Woo, let me tell you, that's tough. Being in that kind of heat, being in the crucible, and putting it in the hands of one of your most dynamic playmakers. Good old Ezekiel Bear. Raw, he says.
I get the feeling he probably does roar after every big catch. You got to live up to the namesake there. Brown will pass again here on the 1st down. Sudduth trying to find some leverage there, but gets absolutely taken out in the air. And the ball falls to the turf, incomplete. Talking to Sully Richardson again before the game here, he mentioned that the defensive line, he really wanted them to get pressure up front and create a bit of a problem for Christian Brown because, when, as you mentioned earlier, when he's got time, he's so accurate.
Right, and anytime you want to bring down any kind of offense, if you get to the quarterback, no matter how good they are, you're going to beat them.
Pass down the middle again, looking for Sudduth. That one came off his shoulder pad, I think. And unfortunately for the big tight end, formerly of the Louisiana Revolution, he's really struggling to get consistent catches. He's had a couple, but also a couple of opportunities of slip past.
Well, as a coach, as the game's going on, you're like, okay, well, he's hot right now. So we're going to let somebody else beat us. We're going to stick him as much as we can. Make someone else step up.
Brown rolling out of the pocket there, doesn't like what he sees, tucks in and runs. He's first down. Miles of green space there, takes a hit at the end of it. Probably a little bit unnecessary to take that hit from Ryan Yosef, but I don't think he'll complain too much when he gets him a first down.
Yeah, you know, you get up and you got the two hands up. Like, come on, you saw that. I know you saw that. But we all saw him make a really great dynamic leadership style play for a 15-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, Andy Hamilton might pull him off to the sideline once the offense comes off and be like, hey, next time just slide, okay?
Just slide a little sooner there, kid. Yeah.
High formation. Brown will pass up the middle of the field, trying to find Bear. That time couldn't set his feet, so the pass hits the dirt here. We'll walk you through this Lycans defense now. Defensive line, Selwyn Lane, Ace Blackwell, Nick Brummer, and Bear Winters. Linebackers, Tazzy Blackwell, Brogan Speraw, Earl Fields IV, and Greg Ward. Corners, Devontae Moore, Mike Scott, and Anthony Wyo. And safeties, Monty Wyatt, Eden Moss, and Ryan Yosef make up this Lycans defense. A defense that has struggled to turn the ball over for its offense. Certainly last season and certainly so far this season. Brown going to the air there, finds Sudduth again. It seems, you know, Jesse, like they're really trying to target those seams. They've had Sudduth and Bear running those streaks up the seams.
Yeah, and I could see that Monte Wyatt that was on the assignment. You could see that his role was to spy on him and make sure that he didn't make the play, or if he made it, that Michael Sudduth wasn't going to go any further.
It's probably about as good of a matchup you can get if you're LA. You know, Monty Wyatt, the 4-season vet here in LA, the 10-season vet overall, and a one-time All-Star back in season 22. That one for Sudduth again, unable to be reeled in. Wyatt there providing the close coverage, and really it seems like so far the story is how well can Christian Brown combine with John Michael Sudduth.
Well, and this is also a really interesting game plan to see because, you know, you've got Nick Lockett, you know, D'Angelo Lopez, Brett Killian. These guys can fly, and yet they're using their tight ends to move this ball methodically down the football field.
Killian comes out of the two-point stance there and will take it back up on the left side of the line here. We might see that pitch to the right side again there. We will. That blocking holds up pretty well, though, and a good pickup of 3 for Jalen Wells there. This is an interesting wrinkle. We saw a lot of Devin Lloyd and a lot of J.W. Doyle in their big win over Chicago. You know, Devin Lloyd had over 200 rushing yards in that game. Whereas, you know, Jalen Wells really is someone who we haven't seen much of so far this season.
Jalen Wells, you may not see much of him, but he's really strong. Like, take out a strong linebacker strong.
Brown rolls left, looking left there, and fires over target there. A bit of an uncharacteristic miss there for Brown, and it'll be 4th down and 7. The Lycans defense holding strong so far in this first quarter.
And this is what you have to do. You have to start scoring when you get the football. You're not going to beat a team like Vancouver with field goals and tough defense. This is a team that can score every time they get the ball. So when they don't, you have to make sure you capitalize.
A big drive upcoming here for LA. Christian Brown slinging the puns in the chat, but I think he's got to focus on slinging the passes right now so far. He's struggled a little bit to stay consistent here. You know, he's had the big shots down the field to Bear and Sudduth, but where is Brett Killian is my question.
My question is, does he know how dangerous puns can be?
They can be a weapon. You can use them, but you can't abuse them. They'll send receiver in motion. That's Tree to the right side. 5 wide here. LA looking to get aggressive. 5-man pressure there for Vancouver. And they finally connect on that pass to Pryor there on the curl route, but they'll only get 5 yards off of the forward progress.
Well, that was the right play to make because they went 5 wide, but they sent a blitz. There were no tight ends on either side to really protect it further, so he just took what he could get. Not a bad throw.
Talk about a stacked box there. I think Vancouver had at least 8 or 9 there, and they shut down Ace Ketchum easily. He loses the yard. It'll be a 3rd and 6, and it looks like Vancouver identified before the game that Los Angeles was going to try and run the ball up the middle here, and they have said absolutely no way you're getting yards up the middle on us. As we hit the end of the first quarter here, it's a tight one so far. Vancouver holding a slim 3-point lead over LA 3-0. We'll be right back with you.
And we're back.
Welcome back to Canada Field here for this matchup between LA and Vancouver. Brandon Walters alongside Jesse in the booth with you here. JW Hartshorn and Mike Daggs providing stats in the stats truck, you know, with their paper and their pencils and their calculators. And from SFL headquarters, Commissioner Cameron Irvine pushing the buttons for us as always. Third down for Sully Richardson and the Lycans offense, going deep down the middle there and into at least double coverage. Could have been considered triple with Jack Russell hanging over the top there. It'll fall incomplete.
Yeah, it really was a coverage sack there too. I mean, there was time, but there was really nobody to throw to. And he's lucky that that was not intercepted in the tip drill. You know, it could have come down very easily into the hands of Jack Russell.
You definitely could have. I mean, you do have to count your blessings a little bit there, but at the same time, you know, if Russell would have picked that off, it would have been an amazing play. I don't think you could have predicted that going into it, as Bear will fair catch at the 37-yard line.
No, I definitely could not have predicted how I would have reacted. Like, the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life! So far.
It's been a tight one so far here. We've seen a lot of passing from Brown and Richardson and a little bit of running from both teams here. They'll pitch left side again for Wells, who's got a lot more room than usual on that left side there, putting out the stiff arm on Wood, and picks up an easy first down there. That's got to be at least 15 yards.
There's Wells saying, like, wait a minute, there's more than 2 running backs on this team. Man, give me that football. Let me show these announcer guys, they don't know what they're talking about. Give me the ball.
Very nice run for Wells, and you know, it feels like this Vancouver team's starting to try and settle into a little bit of a rhythm. Every single one of their runs have been on those outside pitches there. You got to wonder if that's their game plan tonight, to run the ball, as Brown will take the snap, rolling a little bit to the left there, looking down the middle of the field. Wyo had it in his hands and drops it on the turf, and unfortunately for Anthony Wyo, he's still searching for his first interception in a Lycans uniform. And you know, I talked about it with Sully Richardson before the game. I asked him, you know, are you looking to scheme Anthony Wyo in any particular way to get him his first interception? And he said it relies on the pressure, and Wyo's going to have opportunities. He had a big one there.
Yeah, right place, right time. It'll happen.
Brown rolls right there and finds Nick Lockett. There's their first connection of the game for a first down, and Vancouver now easily past the 100-yard mark total on the game, sitting at 142. This offense, you know, it's a little bit stop and start at the moment, but so far it's been good enough to at least keep them moving semi-consistently.
Well, you know, they're winning the time battle, but, you know, they're not getting as many points. They keep driving, they take off some time, but they don't quite get close enough to score.
Brown back to pass again. They're looking for Lockett. Nice. 2 in a row. That one's caught well. Devontae Moore was in pretty tight coverage there and laid a hit on Nick Lockett as he caught it, but he brings it in very well for a gain of 9.
Well, that's a testament to Brown's confidence. Like, yes, he made a very dangerous throw back there, but you can't let your last shot affect your next shot.
Heavy set here for Vancouver. They've got 3 down in on the line, including Lockett. They'll pitch it right side there, and Lloyd buried someone to get that first down. That was Ryan Yosef, the strong safety. When I mean, for a wide receiver converting to a halfback, that's pretty impressive.
Those skill sets can definitely translate, you know, especially when you have a very balanced team like Vancouver.
They'll run it to Wells again. They're up the middle for the first time in this one, and he picks up a nice gain of 6. And I think you're starting to see a little bit more offensive variety here from Vancouver. We saw a lot of pitches early on. Now they're starting to open things up with some more, I'd say, consider quote-unquote normal inside the tackles runs so far.
Definitely, for sure.
LA stacking the box right now, trying to counter this heavy set. Lockett comes off the line, and we'll bring Wyo with him out to the left side there, looking for the man coverage. They'll pitch it left side again there. Devin Lloyd puts another guy in the turf. Man, he is on one so far tonight. That was number 33, Monty Wyatt, eating grass. And Lloyd picks up another couple yards, sets up a short 3rd and 1.
You know, that stiff arm is rated E for everyone.
Absolutely.
We're all getting it.
No one is exempt from the Devin Lloyd shadow realm here as they'll try and pick it up. J.W. Doyle brought down in the backfield. Great tackle by Tazzy Blackwell. Great work from the inside linebacker to stop Vancouver again. You know, in this red zone on the 3rd and short here, they'll force him to take another chip shot.
You know, I mean, I personally, you know, if I were Andy Hamilton, I would have gone for it. But all those people in that stadium, I don't have to answer to them.
Chance to win with his second field goal of the evening. Vancouver will take a 6-0 lead over the Los Angeles Lycans. It's been a minute, and we hope you haven't forgotten. It's super simple to smash that like button and help the channel out. We just crossed the 8,500 subscriber mark, so subscribe if you already haven't, so you never miss a moment of a live stream, highlight, or podcast. Thank you for your support of the Virtual Football Network and the Simulation Football League. And thank you to everyone who's here tonight. We hope you smash the like button. We hope you enjoy the game here. So far, it's been a good one. A tight game so far as Tree will bring it back out to the 25. And, you know, Sully Richardson and this Lycans offense is going to try and figure out a way to get down the field.
Absolutely. And the next great playmaker can be you. We'd love to have you here.
Absolutely. If you're watching and you're not already a part of the Simulation Football League, get over to the website, simfl.net. Make your player get out here on the field. As Richardson will sit in the offset eye on the first down here. They'll send a man in motion. That's Pryor. Actually, that's Lee to the left side there. They'll run up the middle. Iniguez with his first room of the night, and it's a good run. Easy first down there. And I think maybe, honestly, if he didn't take that little left turn there, he could have had a lot more steam in the tank there to get some more yardage.
Well, you know, the beauty of this is that it was so easy to read. I mean, there was the pearly gates open. Oh, so enter here, young man. Yes. And you just run through it.
Big credit to Alteus Wild. He's the center getting up for that second level block, though. I saw that as Ketchum gets buried in the back for 2. That's Josh Farnsey on the tackle for loss. One of the best run defense linebackers in the entire league, Jesse.
Yes, he also has both tackles for loss in this game so far.
He's racking them up. You know, he's got a stat sheet. He wants to keep adding to that thing.
Yeah, come out in the backfield.
They'll come out in the split set here. They're moving Bodette to the left side, put him in the slot. Richardson will roll right, plenty of time. Looking back left side, they're trying to find Bodette, but tight coverage there, and Richardson really didn't have much of a chance of getting that one to his receiver. Good coverage by number 35. That is somebody. I'm not actually sure who that is.
Number 35 and the Los Angeles Lycans.
Travaris Tillman, number 35 for the Vancouver Legion.
Vancouver, yes. Beg your pardon.
Sully rolling, cuts that roll quick there. Oh man, it was in the hands of his Lee, and unfortunately dropped right at the first down marker. You saw Richardson, he saw something there with that pass. He cut the roll short and tried to fire it in there, and unfortunately couldn't find his number 1 target.
Yeah, it was a breadbasket catch too, but you know, there were just so many bodies on him. Somebody made a shoulder check on him. Like, the hard catches are hard to make.
Absolutely. That's why they ain't easy, huh?
Yeah, that's why the ones that, you know, make it look easier, just really good.
Barrel bringing it up to the 31. Eddie Gage in the chat trying to get his heart rate below 200 beats per minute. That'll be a tough ask for him tonight, as we are watching a close one so far, and this one 6-0 still in favor of Vancouver. But, you know, LA's defense has really kept this game in tight so far tonight. And, you know, considering last season, this game took place in LA and Vancouver walked out with a shutout 29-0 win here. I think if you're LA, you've at least got to be happy that your defense is definitely giving you a chance.
Definitely, it's very true.
Brown pitches right side there. That time buried in the backfield. Selwyn Lane had the initial contact there on Wells, and it falls to Tazzy Blackwell to get the cleanup duty back there, and a loss of at least 2, probably 3.
Yeah, she made a really nice tackle there. And one of the beauties of a team like Vancouver is that the game changes how you have to win, and they're very adaptable.
Selwyn Lane against Gregory Winnell so far has been a good battle, and that time Lane's the one who gets the better as Brown will pass there. They sent all the pressure, and Bear just beat the coverage easily. He's got speed for days, and he shows it there. First down.
Yeah, and I believe that the tackle there was made by Ryan Youssef. Yeah, tackle was actually made by Anthony Wyo. But that was a huge touchdown-saving tackle. If he hadn't made it, he would have been gone.
Oh, yeah. Say it's hard to critique a quarterback who's making a throw under that kind of pressure, but if Brown had just managed to lead him a little bit further, you know, Bear could have been gone. As they'll pitch it here, Wells to the left side there, a lot more real estate. That's the second time they've broken it big on that left side there, and they'll mark him just short of the first down.
Well, he keeps on, whoever they keep giving the ball to just keeps running the football with it well. And it's good to see Jalen Wells, no pun intended, stepping up in a huge way.
Big heavy set here. Lockett down on the line again here. They'll pitch to the fullback this time. Fumbled! Oh, recovered by Nick Lockett. Great play from the wide receiver to jump on that one quickly, but a hard-in-the-mouth moment there for Devin Lloyd putting that one on the turf. And if that ball's not recovered, I mean, oh, man, there's a chance that number 22 there, Ryan Youssef, could have been gone for the Lycans on the scoop and score.
And they really have to, because this is the way that you beat tougher teams. You have to force turnovers and then make them pay for it.
LA spreading out that line there, and this time they'll run up the middle. Wells, good carry, will pick up 7, and that's the kind of in-game adjustments that really show you who the true leaders on the field there. Christian Brown saw that defensive line split apart there and maybe made some changes to get that run up the middle. As we see Brett Killian in the backfield there's a wrinkle and a half. Lloyd and Killian. Killian will block for the toss there. Lloyd, who just fumbled on the last one, breaks the tackle and is off down the left side there. A big gain, and that's one way to re-endear yourself to your players and your coaching staff after a mistake like a fumble like that.
And another one, and another one. Getting these running backs in positions where if you can just do right place, right time, right move, and able to make huge gains, first, second, and into the third level.
3 minutes left to go in the second quarter here as Vancouver closing in on that scoring range again. I believe they're already inside of chance to win's field goal range. Oh, definitely. As Brown will set up under center here. Sudeth moving in motion left to right across the line. Hasn't been targeted much recently. It's been a lot more of Nick Lockett in the running game more recently. We'll have to see if that continues. Brown on the quick one-step drop there, looking for Lockett, finds him again. And I mean, if you're Devonta Moore, you've got to be pretty upset at this point because that's such tight coverage. And at the same time, there's not anything more you can do to try and stop that pass.
Well, you know, LA's defense really has to make a statement here. Force a turnover. They got to make a big statement. Settle for a field goal, fine. But whatever you do, do not let them into the house.
Vancouver hoping the third time is going to be the charm here in the red zone. They'll pitch. Lloyd has a bit more room, shakes off Wyo, but buried in the backfield. Might have gone back to the line of scrimmage. Monty Wyatt puts him in the turf here, and LA continuing to try and hold strong in this red zone. And I think you get a bit of a feeling that if they do crack, it might be the opening of the floodgates, so to speak.
Yeah, it could really change the entire landscape of the game. That's why this is so crucial.
Watch that left side pitch here. They've got the bunch. They won't get it off in time. 2 minutes left in the first half here. 6-0 Vancouver. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back to Canada Field. A tight 6-0 game here. Vancouver looking to add more to their lead. Brandon Walters alongside Jesse Long in the booth. J.W. Hartshorn and Mike Daggs working the stats. Cameron Irvine working the buttons in the production truck. Second down and goal. Lloyd up the middle, pushing, trying to make it work. But 2 linebackers is too many to push through, and they will get the tackle there. A nice combination by Earl Fields IV and Greg Ward there for the Lycans.
Well, this is a good game plan to have in this place. Focus more on run support. Because they've been running everywhere. But once you start stopping that run, especially in tight space, you force him into the pass, and you can capitalize on a mistake.
Formation, 3rd and goal. Brown rolling. He's going to take it himself. Touchdown for the quarterback. Breaks the plane for the first time tonight. 1:31 to go in the second quarter. Christian Brown tacks on the first touchdown for Vancouver.
Yeah, I think when Brown hiked that ball and got it, he just kind of looked around and said, okay, I think there's a lane in here somewhere. I'm just going to take it. He brings it to the C gap. It's literally right there. It's so close when you're on the field and in real time. He just decides to walk it in. And that was a huge and crucial score for the landscape of this football game.
That is great vision there. I think that was Orrin Wildies, the left tackle there, took his marker, Ace Blackwell, to the outside. Brown saw it and bent that run inside into the gap that had been created. Great run there from Christian Brown, doing his best type attack impression. And he's waving to the cameras, "Hi, Mom." A good touchdown here to open up things for Vancouver and really open up the gap on the scoreboard and the gap in the total yards as we look at Lycans sitting at 50 at the moment. Vancouver already over 200.
Yeah, it's been really tough for LA because they haven't really been able to get anything going. Like, the stats make it look a little more like they have been moving than they really have down the football field.
I mean, it's hard to when you know the passing game has been a bit of a struggle here. Sully at the moment is 4 for 9, 37 yards passing. And, Chris Lee, one of the top receivers in the league so far this season, only has 1 catch on 3 targets for 11 yards. Adam Grabowski, the tight end, is currently the team's leading receiver with 15 yards. And certainly you're going to have to see that change. The running game's also been a bit stuck in mud here. Darius Iniguez, 16 yards on 5 carries, and as long was 14 of those yards. So been a struggle. Richardson sending one in motion to the right side there. Stepping back to pass, looking down deep there, and a misfire well in front of Grabowski. Could have been an interception there for Jack Russell, and bounces off of his hands, unfortunately.
It should have been an interception too, because he threw a really good pass, but he threw it to the wrong guy.
Yeah, the lead did not do Grabowski any favors. He would have probably had to have 20-foot long arms to get to that one.
Well, we have wonders in modern technology.
Of course. Elsie Pryor in motion to the left side. Richardson will pass again. Vancouver continuing to bring pressure. Sully gets out through the middle of the pocket there. Nice escape move by the Houdini in the backfield for LA. Will pick up a first down.
That was a good, absolute takeoff there too, because it looked like pressure was coming, and then he just, he could feel it down his neck. He could feel the pressure coming behind him. He said, "I'm just going to take off and go for it."
And again, a good play by the center, Alteus Wildies, really opening up that gap there. He saw that Richardson wanted to get out of the pocket and moved his guy to the left there to give Sully plenty of room to tuck it and run there as they'll run it up the middle. And Iniguez really not finding any kind of purchase so far tonight. A big tackle in the backfield there by number 54, DJ Woods.
Yeah, and, if I'm running this offense right now, wide open, 2-minute drill, I'm really looking to score a touchdown here.
Sully stepping back, going deep there, trying to connect again down the field. And so far, the long ball has not been on the cards. Elsie Pryor could not get up and reach that one. 3rd down and 10 now for LA. And, I think we've got to mention that Vancouver really seems to have keyed in on that inside running. They've been pinching the line a lot. They're sending a lot of linebacker pressure up the inside. They pinched the line again here. Definitely been shutting down that running game so far for LA as Richardson rolling out of the pocket to the right. Plenty of time. Looking left, finding Chris Lee. A good catch there. Timeout call by the Lycans.
Great play by Chris Lee there. And you mentioned shutting down the running game. One of the problems with live by the running game, die by the running game, is what happens when you focus your defenses on what makes a running game excel, and then you force them into something they haven't engineered their team around.
That's what it's all about. You're going to try and take away your opponent's advantages and force them to play your way there. As a nice catch by Bubba Tree, the one-hander there on the big hit from one of the Vancouver backfield there. Another timeout call by LA.
Well, these completions are good and they're consistent, and that's great. But they're really cosmetic if they can't make any points of it out of this drive.
Going to try their best. Plenty of Legion defenders in the box here. They'll bring 5. Richardson rolls left there. That one hits off the face of his fullback, I believe. I don't think that was intended for Tom Thickey. And unfortunately, it's going to be 3rd down and 4 now for the Lycans.
Yeah, it's really hard to get your feet set and make a proper throw when you're running out of pocket like that, especially on short timing routes that are designed to get past the secondary.
8 men in the box here for Vancouver. Looking like a heavy set here. Sully will roll left, go right immediately there. Nice catch for Chris Lee. And that'll be the 3rd and final Lycans timeout of the half here. They're getting close to scoring position. I think they're probably only a couple of yards from a safe field goal range for John Smith. But if you're LA at this point, you've got to be trying to think about a touchdown.
Really do, and you're going to have to outsmart them. Like you said, no, so going further inside, more guys in the box, maybe do something outside. Outsmart them.
Vancouver committed to stuffing this box here so far tonight. Richardson a roll left again. Their nice tip. A great defensive pass coverage there by number 32. That is Ron Hoff. He got up with the big hops to break that one up.
Man, this goes back to Vancouver having great coverage skills by all of their secondary members, both cornerbacks and safeties. You can really outnumber receivers.
John Smith being asked to do a lot here. 49-yard field goal attempt. They are in the dome here at the Canada Field, so that might help them. The kick is it's just good. I thought it was just short there. John Smith tacks on a nice 49-yarder, and LA cuts the lead down to just 10, 13-3 now, right at the end of the first half.
When you kick a long field goal like that, it's kind of like when you're bowling and you haven't quite got all the pins. You kind of start leaning over, try to get that pin to move.
You may be blowing on it a little bit, like, maybe we can make it fall over there. I mean, honestly, I don't really think he had a couple of yards to spare there, honestly. A very nice kick from the Lycans kicker there, as Bear will kneel it in the end zone, bring it out to the 20, and we'll probably get one final pitch to Wells here if the trend of the game continues before we head into the halftime lockers.
Or we could clone Brett Killian 4 more times and just go empty shotgun set with 5 Brett Killians.
Well, Killian's down in his best offensive line impression there on the right side of the bunch. They will hand it off up the middle. The draw there for Wells will pick up a nice 4 or 5 yards, and that will be the final play of the first half here. It's been a tight one so far, Jesse. Vancouver leads it 13-3 at halftime at home. But, I mean, you got to give credit to LA. They've hung in very well so far today, especially defensively. The offense still struggling a little bit to get moving here, but that last drive showed a bit of promise.
Well, the score is what determines the game. The score is what determines who wins. And despite all of the transgressions that have taken place already, the Lycans are only down 10 points. So if they can stay within striking distance, you score 2 touchdowns by hook or by crook, you have the lead all of a sudden. So this game is far from over. This game is still really close. And there's a lot of bright spots that can be found in Los Angeles' offense. If you look at their rushing, it doesn't seem like they ran a lot, but they did a pretty good job of their yards per carry average. I think if they stay, what you have to do when things are not working is just kind of focus on the fundamentals and focus on something that works, keep it working, keep it moving, and get your team confident back into the second half.
Vancouver will get the ball to start the second half here, so a chance for them to immediately re-extend that lead against LA here. And if you're LA, something that's been talked about a lot around the league over the last couple of weeks is the idea of these second half adjustments. LA seems to be a team comes out strong in the first half, puts up a good fight, and then kind of seems to get found out a little bit in the second half of games. We're going to have to see if Sully Richardson and that coaching staff has managed to address that here today, as Bear will bring it up to the 28-yard line and set up Christian Brown in this offense. Christian Brown has had a good game. We saw he was the player of the half. He's 9 of 16 for 125 yards passing. No touchdowns yet, but no interceptions either. And he's been a very, very good quarterback so far tonight in this one. He's been doing his job exactly as advertised.
He really is. And this is one of those games where, both quarterbacks, both commanders-in-chief are going to stare eyeball to eyeball. And the first one to make that crucial turnover, the first one to blink, is going to cost his team possibly the game.
LA bringing the linebackers down to the line here. That's an adjustment from the first half. And a good job there to bring down Jalen Wells in the backfield there. Tazie Blackwell, again, has to be the cleanup woman there and make that tackle. But a good adjustment there to see those linebackers spread out there and, really kind of eye in on that pitch. Earl Fields the fourth with a good move.
And back there. I think that's Brett Killian.
Brett Killian again back there. Maybe they'll try and pass it to him. No, Brown going down the middle of the field looking for that seam, and Sudduth was easily covered on the inside leverage there. And, again, something that we saw a lot in that first half was Sudduth going up those seams and, getting a lot of yards for this Vancouver offense. If they've adjusted to that as well, we might see an entirely different second half here between these two teams. 3rd and 12 for the Legion.
Let's get your team fired up, too.
Yeah, this would be an absolutely massive stop here. Vancouver, the best team in the league coming in this week on third down conversion, 66.7%. So far, they have not been too good tonight, honestly, as Brown rolls right there, had a bit of pressure in his face. And, again, I don't know if the pressure impacted the throw there or what, but LA was all over it.
Well, when John Michael Sudduth made that transition, when he went into motion, you saw that Tazzy Blackman went right with him. So they're doing assignment on assignment, right? They're not saying, okay, he's over there, you go get him. They're going to say, he's over there, I'm going to go get him. Everybody's on who they need to be, and they have extra tacklers going to the ball carrier.
I like that. You got to take charge, put hats on hats and see who's going to come out on top here as Beaudet brings it up to the 40-yard line. The best starting field position tonight for LA so far, and we'll see if they can do something with it on offense. You're watching the Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. This week on VFN, SFL Week 5 is on tonight and Monday, and the UFL's final 3 weeks of the regular season continues Tuesday and Friday. No other network gives you more football. The SFL lives on the VFN as Darius Iniguez takes the handoff there, and it's been tough sledding so far for him tonight. He'll get one before Gerald Giudice puts him in the turf.
And it is really nice to be able to broadcast this game with all of you on the Virtual Football Network. It's very rare that you can claim that you are part of something that is the premiere of what it does in all of the world.
We love bringing it to everybody as well, that's for sure. It's Darius Iniguez really just struggling to find any kind of room there, and he loses the yard that he got on the last play.
Yeah, not a very premier play there, right? Sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you.
For real. Sully here, 3rd and 10, 5 wide.
This is big.
If they go to that curl again, it's going to be problems for LA, and they go to a different curl on the right side there. Bubba Tree again, short of the first down, and it just seems like that play design is not going to be able to get them the yardage they need in that kind of situation. 4th and 2, and they'll have to punt the ball away.
Yeah, well, it's going to be good to see what their defense is going to do on the next drive here, because they can get field goal position back, get good field position back if they can hold this defense to essentially where they get the ball. So how the defense responds here is going to be crucial.
Ezekiel Bear, fair catch at the 14-yard line, and you're right, if they can get another quick 3 and out here, potentially, that punt will be returned around midfield, and that would be easily the best starting field position so far tonight for LA. So really a defensive stand here could be key to getting this game back in their favor a little bit. As first down here, they'll move to the bunch set left side pitch, and some good blocking there from the wide receivers. Wells shakes one tackle, can't shake the big form of Selwyn Lane there on the second tackle, and he'll pick up only 2 yards.
Well, I'm seeing an adjustment already right here. When the running back goes outside, what they're saying is rather than continue the quarterback, push off and then hit him. I don't care who you are, where you are, what you've done, as long as you go tackle him.
Could see another pitch to Lloyd here. We will. That fullback pitch. They had the fumble on it earlier this time, getting some room close to the first down, 3rd and 2. And I mean, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was, I would put quite a bit of money on a pitch play upcoming here.
Yeah, that's one of the ways you can counter it, because unfortunately, linemen are not the fastest creatures on earth. So if you can flip it out there and put your halfback in position where they can run past them, they'll go up the middle.
J.W. Doyle picks it up nicely. The big fullback there who had a big game against Chicago. Probably not going to do as much tonight, but a key 3rd down conversion there for his team.
That's what you love about having a fullback. Like, hey, we only need 1 yard. And everybody in the huddle looks at you, and you're like, okay, well, time to do my job.
Right side pitch, Wells again, shakes off Tazzy Blackwell and picks up the first down, walking the tightrope on that right side. A nice first down for the Legion. That's their 14th of the game. LA sitting only on 6.
This Vancouver offense is just giving the ball to everybody who can run with it, and everybody's doing a really fantastic job out there. 10 yards per carry, 6.1, even at 2.3. is still really good when you consider how this entire running game is attacking Los Angeles right now.
I'm gonna have to get the trainer out on the field because I think Jalen Wells just need Mike Scott in the head there as he was on the ground from that block, as Blackwell will get the tackle after a gain of 4 from Lloyd.
Yeah, and they just continue to do what they do best here. You know, if I'm the coach, I just keep calling running plays. You know, and I just keep calling running plays. Just keep running the football. It's continuing to work.
I mean, Lloyd's had a great game so far. 9 carries, 57 yards, averaging over 5 a carry here as they'll pitch to Doyle on the left side there. And he's brought down by Blackwell after another gain of about 3, set up a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and it's really hard to defend against this too because, okay, well, you start sending resources to the outside. That's to leave your inside in the middle open for Ezekiel Bear and John Michael Sadeth, who have had 3 catches and almost combined for 100 yards receiving tonight.
Killian is the tailback. Brown tried to sneak it by LA, and Earl Fields, the 4, said, "Nuh-uh, no way you're getting past me, Christian Brown."
Yeah, he got that
tackle.
He got that level 0 sneak debuff on that one from Earl Fields, the 4th.
That's a brave call there to put Brett Killian in your tailback spot. So you're kind of signaling that you're probably not going to go to him, and instead you try and sneak it from about 3 yards out. That was an interesting call there by Andy Hamilton and that Vancouver coaching staff. Didn't work out for him, unfortunately, as LA will take over on their own 20-yard line.
Like the wise wizard once said, "You shall not pass."
To be fair, that said wizard did then get thrown into a pit and die, if I do remember correctly. So maybe it's a whole thing we can't really get into right now. Sully buried in the backfield. Gerald Giudice with the first sack of the game for either team here. That was one of the key themes coming in tonight, was who was going to get the sacks, who was going to get the pressure, and big Gerald Giudice puts the hurt on Sully Richardson.
And he put the hurdles on him as well. He jumped over somebody else. I mean, it's so frustrating right now if you're LA.
Yeah, it feels like it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back every time they get a bit of momentum. It's taken away again as Richardson tries to find his receiver on the right side, unable to. As we've got a game update for you from the other game in the block tonight. Cam, what have you got for us?
Oh, a lot of great defense. Great competitive games this week. Watch this pick from Mark Kaufman. Scar Patterson to the bottom of the screen. Sin City up 14-5 before that pick. Washington just gave it right back. Back to you.
Wow.
Thank you, Cam. That's an interesting scoreline. I mean, there's got to be a safety in there if it's a 5 points for one of the teams there. But big West division matchups here so far tonight. And, outside of Vancouver being at that 3-0 position, this division is wide open, Jesse.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Arizona's really good. I mean, there's a lot of ways it can go as the season continues. The season is still young. There are even teams that are 0-3. If they get hot at the right time, and some things happen and some things don't. Remember, once you get into the playoffs, all you got to do is go undefeated from there, and the world is yours.
I say it's only a few games. I mean, it really could be anyone's chance here. I'm guessing there'll probably be at least 2 teams coming out of this division as playoff teams. There's a chance the 3rd place team in the division could be a wild card sneak in here, and that's between LA, Washington, and Sin City at the moment, as Doyle goes to that right side and picks up 3 before being brought down by Brogan Speraw.
Let me tell you, this is a division matchup itself. Los Angeles can somehow find a way to win it. They can get closer to taking over on Arizona.
That would be a huge momentum swing for LA. I think as much in the mentality and the mind as it is actually, on the win column sheet. They'll go for that pitch again. Lloyd to the right side there, brought down before that first down marker there. Well, by Ryan Yosef, but another short 3rd and 2. Will we see that quarterback sneak again, Jesse, do you think?
To be honest here, everything is available in the playbook, but it's not a bad idea to take a QB sneak here because the time is your friend, especially running the ball. There's a gap right there in the middle.
They're in the same formation here. We might see it again. They'll move Sudeth this time to the right side. could be hinting at a move towards a run out on that right side. LA will motion accordingly. They will sneak it up the middle there. This time Brown has the gap, and Greg Ward could not react fast enough to close the gap there. Nice job by CB4.
And nice slide right there. All you kids watching at home, just take notes. That's how you slide. Don't be a hero. Real heroes slide.
Real heroes keep hold of the ball and don't get injured. As Brown will go right side there. Devonta Moore finally gets the better of Nick Lockett. I think it was 3 or 4 times in a row now that when Brown had gone to Lockett's side, he'd made the catch. And that time, the cornerback says, nuh-uh.
Yeah, this also stops the clock. LA needs to get this ball back, and time becomes your... At some point in any football game, start to figure out time is not a neutral person in all of it.
They'll pitch to that right side again. Wells with all kinds of room there. Lockett holding up fantastic blocks on that right side. I've got to call it out. He's been excellent, and he's getting the plaudits there from Jalen Wells. He's hyped, and he should be, because
really
the blocking's fantastic.
And, you know, and this is what makes it so frustrating for Sully Richardson watching this, because, you know, you just can't stop anything they want to do. Like, and when you see something good happen, Vancouver just goes right back into what they do best.
Well, at this moment, it looks like it might be another quarterback sneak for whatever reason. It's the same formation. Killian in the backfield, and Brown going down the middle there. That one's over. Again, LA just not seeming to get the luck of the green when it comes to turnovers. They had the fumble on the ground that was recovered by Nick Lockett. They had Wyo have a almost guaranteed interception for such a good ball hawking cornerback go straight through his hands. And they've had multiple Christian Brown overthrows that they just haven't been able to capitalize on.
Well, I think they were taking a shot at it, knowing how good the run game's doing.
Brown passing again there down the field again. Had Sudden wide open that time, at least 2 yards of space to the closest Lycans defender. And Brown, you know, maybe it's a little bit of rust here. He hasn't had to throw the ball very much so far this half, and it looks like it might be getting to him a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard to make an excuse for that throw, especially when Sudeth and Bear prove that they can be really dynamic playmakers.
Christian Brown asking if potentially the Lycans defense is getting a little bit handsy with John Michael Sudeth, trying to interfere with his route running here. 3rd down, Brown in the back. 4-man, oh, great throw. Sudeth with a perfect route. Absolutely broke himself wide open over the middle there. You're not going to find an easier pass to make.
And when you watch that offensive line, that's such a clean pocket. That's what the beauty of strong offensive line play. You can go 2nd and 10, you can go 3rd and 10. But if you give your quarterback enough time and someone gets open, they will find them. It's the law of averages.
Bunch set again here. They won't do the pitch. Brown will roll out opposite side, left side there, and Killian, his first catch of the game is a touchdown. That one might get reviewed, but for the moment, BK12 notching up another one in his long and illustrious career to extend this lead over LA.
You know, he's out there going, is there a Hall of Famer? Is there a Hall of Famer anywhere? Oh, hey! Boom! Right, you see that matchup, and if you go like, I can get that football in there, I know I can do it. And then you're just going to take that matchup every single time. And really good tenacity to just punch the bare minimum of the plane when it's all it takes.
LA's not going to challenge it. I guess, you know, Brett Killian's his big neck probably got over that plane there and broke it for the touchdown as Vancouver takes a 20-3 lead. I know the pain, Brett, but sometimes it's an advantage to have a big neck. Vancouver, you know, now it feels like this is the kind of time where they're really going to, you know, stamp this game out, put it to bed here, and get out of here with a win and move on to 4-0 potentially.
Yeah, it's tough here because that little extra point makes it a 3-possession ball game. And then they got to get 2 points on top of it. Yeah, it's going to be a tough go from here. But remember, we're not exactly in miracle territory here. There's enough time to get all the scores you need, but some big plays are going to happen.
You're going to have to see a big improvement in terms of how fast this offense is able to move down the field. Sully Richardson sitting at only 80 yards passing so far tonight, 8 of 19. That completion percentage brings out 42.1% so far tonight, and you're going to have to see a big improvement in that if you want to see LA stage this comeback. 1st and 10 from the 23. He will pass. Vancouver bringing the pressure. Whoa, what a spin. Chris Lee breaks free. He's got a chance to go all the way. Ron Hoff chasing him down. 20, 10. He's not going to get him. Touchdown, LA. Again, Chris Lee is the burner over the top that this team needs, and the Lycans are right back in it.
Remember how we talked about how you beat chess masters, right? You capitalize on their blunders. He got over the top. He threw it in. He made a move. This is what you need out of your playmakers to keep you in the football game. And now we have an entirely new story to tell.
It's a beautiful move by Chris Lee. That spin move to break him out there. He's already over 100 yards in the game with that one. A massive, humongous play there by Chris Lee, trying to hold on to that number 1 wide receiver spot on the team and up there in the league in terms of stats. 10-20 now the score, and LA, all of a sudden it feels like they've got life.
And this is the beauty of this game. That's why stats don't always tell the whole story. Like, that one play, all it takes is one moment to change everything.
Ezekiel Bear bringing it out of the end zone, out to the 23 again. And that's where Christian Brown and the offense will take over. And I think at this point, even though, LA just scored, I think the focus of the game now has got to be slow it down and drain the clock, get back to those pitch runs they've been running all game. It's been good for them so far. And try and, drain as much time off the clock, not give LA a chance to respond.
And hold on to the football when you do.
That's key. Jalen Wells on the pitch there, brought down by Greg Ward after a gain of 2. And, Jalen Wells really has had a great game so far tonight. He's been carrying the ball very well indeed. 15 carries now, 79 yards on the ground. He only had, I believe, 22 or 23 carries so far on the season, 22 for 65. So he's already topped his entire season total in just this game tonight, Jesse.
Yeah, the collective yards per carry, it's just extraordinary. 3.5 is what you look for, and they're hovering just above 5 today.
Bear moving across the line there, setting up as a bit of a tight end on the line. They'll pass it out left. Killian out of the backfield gets it. Ward with a great one-on-one tackle. Famer there brings him down after a gain of only about 3, 3rd and 5 for Vancouver now. And if the Lycans can get a stop here, all of a sudden, this game feels like it's wide open again.
And they really have to. Like, the game rests here. Like, they have to get a stop here. The line must be drawn here.
No further.
Oh, further.
Brown back. 3rd down and 5. Going for it all in triple coverage there. Decision making has to be questioned a little bit there from the Vancouver Legion shot caller. And that one drops to the floor. Incomplete. 4th and 5. And LA's going to get the ball right back, Jesse.
And what an extraordinary turn of events. Right? We talk about the score, and sometimes the score doesn't always tell the entire story. Like, if you look at it now, it looks like this game should be a lot further away. But just by one quick play and one quick 3 and out, we have an entirely new ball game.
Bodette bringing the punt out to the 34-yard line. That's what Sully will take over and try and recreate the magic of that last drive there. And, another thing that has to be brought up if LA does manage to bring this back into a closer game here is those stops that Lycans defense made in the red zone early on in the game could really come back to haunt Vancouver.
Yeah, they really do add up over time.
Sully coming out in the offset eye here on the 1st down and 10. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right. They'll run it left side. Iniguez shakes off Farnsey. Nice job to get away from him. And he picks up 5 there. And that's probably the 2nd best run Darius Iniguez has had all night, Jesse.
And going into the second half, it looks like they're going to let the clock going into the 4th quarter. What they need to do is also not just rely on the giant miracle chunk plays, but get good plays going consistently too.
End of the 3rd quarter here, 20-10 Vancouver, but a tight game. LA coming back. Don't go anywhere, folks. And welcome back to the frozen north, Jesse. It's the 4th quarter here of a tight one so far. 20-10 is the score. Vancouver in the lead. LA driving. Brandon Walters alongside Jesse Long in the booth. J.W. Hartshorn and Mike Daggs doing stats. Cameron Irvine producing for us as Ace Ketchum is buried in the backfield there. And, we saw a little bit of that early on in the game. Marquise Reed with the tackle, but this time it feels like that's back and forth, just stacking the box.
Yeah, right now, like Los Angeles doesn't really seem to have like anything clicking or going. But if they can play hero ball, that's all that matters. They just need to make plays, and they have to make them.
Elsie Pryor in motion to the right side, shadowed by Drew Hamilton. Looks like man coverage here for Sully Richardson. Third down, throwing over the middle there. It deflected off of Hamilton into Pryor's hands, but he couldn't reach out and grab it, and unfortunately, it's going to be fourth down now for the Lycans. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, you can credit the defender on there with the true reason it dropped. I mean, still, in your hands, you got to grab it in those moments, but, it's also hard to catch a ball you can't really get your feet set and ready for.
LA a dismal 2 of 10 on third down tonight. Vancouver not much better at only 5 of 11. That's sub 50%, which for the team that had the best third down conversion rate in the league coming into tonight is not what you want to see if you're Vancouver, as Bear will bring it out to the 24-yard line. And we do have a final score report over in the other game in the block. Sin City gets their first win of the season, 14-8 over the Washington Trident. And, that's the final winless team gone in the SFL this season. Every single team has a win. And, that's big for this division. Both teams are now 1-3. If LA wins tonight, somehow they would be up to 2-2, and that would put them one game clear of 4th and 5th.
Wow. Very interesting. So Vancouver is going to be your undisputed number 1 in the power rankings, except for that one person we all know that just isn't going to say they are.
Brown under center. 2nd and 8. It will throw here down the middle of the field, looking for Suddeth. That one's caught.
Catch.
The return of the king, John Michael Suddeth there. Big catch for the tight end. I mean, he's an imposing physical presence. I think we can say that much, Jesse.
Well, what makes teams like Vancouver continue to win games at this level is that they just know how to close out games. They just know how to keep making those plays that lead to them becoming the winning team at the end.
Back to this bunch set here. They'll pitch it out again. Wells bends it inside there, reacting to the broken block there for Mike Scott. And they'll pick up a nice 5 yards. It's a very good job by this running game here, reacting to situations. Sometimes they get the seal on those outside blocks and they take it outside. Sometimes the outside breaks down, they bend it back inside, and they're making sure to get those yards.
Yeah, all the running backs of Vancouver have been stars tonight.
Oh, Wyo with a great pass deflection there. I think it hit off of the back of his shoulder, maybe the back of his helmet. And a good pass deflection nonetheless. 3rd and 5 now for Vancouver. Suddeth sitting on 5 catches, 81 yards so far tonight, though. He has been very productive.
Yeah, he really has. And his yards per reception has been around his longest, 16.2 to 19.
3rd down, Brown with pressure in his face, gets it off. What a catch! Ezekiel Bear goes up and gets it. And I mean, you know what? I'm giving that one the Retroid Nice Hands catch of the game. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands. Play the only video game with your character in it, SFL 4K23. I don't know if we still do that ad read in season 25, but I'm going to do it anyways, just for old time's sake, because that's a great catch by Ezekiel Bear.
Well, let me tell you, there's also the nice hand play, because he didn't use both.
You're right.
Hands.
It's not even the hands; it's the hand.
Is that a separate award?
Maybe. You can hold a Retroid in each hand and play them at the same time. Oh, that one, just pitch out for Lloyd there, basically, and that one goes nowhere. Wyo immediately reacting.
And that clock continues to roll. Really nice to see how they've combined the run with opportunities in the passing game.
Christian Brown moving Brett Killian in motions. Only had the one target so far tonight, but it was a touchdown. The Hall of Famer making his impact felt even in games where he's not really all that involved. As that's a nice catch for Lockett. Pirouetting to the ground there and picking up 9 yards.
What a game for everybody involved. Even though you might not see a lot of yards from them on the score sheet, every catch, every play they made was a play that needed to happen when it happened.
If it's not a pitch, I'll eat my hat, and it is a pitch here. Lloyd with the stiff arm, Fields in the turf there, and a nice first down for Devin Lloyd. That could be one of the final nails in the coffin here in this one, potentially. 6.5 minutes left to go, but you feel like Vancouver's almost certainly going to score on this drive.
Let me tell you, the rushing game has just been dominating tonight. Devin Lloyd, 68 yards. Doyle, 13, even on 5 carries. Jalen Wells, 86. You know, it's been extraordinary. Jack Russell even has a rushing yard.
All over the middle. Oh, beautiful, beautiful pass. Sudeth there again in the seam. That's been killing him all night. And that one will probably be the final big score in this one here as Vancouver reestablishes superiority with their 17, almost certainly soon to be 17-point lead.
I think it's drove down the field, and you know the coverage right there. It was man-to-man coverage, and Hazzy just happens to get twisted in it, and it ends up in Sudeth's hands. And he does exactly what a guy with his hands does in the end zone with a catch like that, brings it down, and that's a killer. Like the miracle window is getting a lot tighter right now.
For sure. I mean, you gotta, have some sympathy for Tazzy Blackwell there because it's so hard to cover someone like John Michael Sudeth. It looked like she broke inside, expecting that inside leverage throw, and Brown put it back shoulder, and Sudeth was just, waiting for it essentially. And Tazzy gets put in the spin cycle, unfortunately for her, as LA is going to have to try and respond really quickly if they want to stay in this one. 6 minutes, 15 seconds left in this game. They'll kneel it down, almost certainly they will, and bring it out to the 20-yard line.
And in this business, there's so much talent out there that no matter how good you are, you will. So it's no discredit to her ability out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tough on the best of days to cover someone like John Michael Sudeth, so, you can't feel too bad about it, really. A lot of players have tried so far tonight, and not really any of them have succeeded too well, as Iniguez really, trying to snowplow his way up the middle there, and again, Farnsey brings him down after only a gain of 1.
Yeah, this clock is continuing to roll, and they don't have the luxury of taking their time. They have to score really fast.
I think you're going to need to see another Chris Lee long bomb here if you really stay in this one as Ketchum. Farnsey again, second play in a row. This time he gets the TFL as Ketchum takes a loss of 1. And really unfortunate game for him so far. I think that's his 5th carry, and he's probably on about -4 yards so far tonight. It's been tough.
Yeah, it's been tough, and the story of LA tonight has been they haven't been able to get anything going. If you take away that big chunk play and you look at all the yards, that was big. That was good.
I say Chris Lee again getting involved there. It really does seem like he is kind of the go-to guy in terms of these long yardage gains and the third down key situations there. And Sully does a good job to find him, that's for sure.
Well, I was trying to talk about how nothing's been working, and then they got to throw a complete pass for a big gain, and
they're ruining your narrative, Jesse.
Ruining it completely.
Soiled it
again. Hey, it's not my story to tell; it's theirs.
That's true. Richardson will move a man in motion. That's Bubba Tree. I don't think he's had a catch tonight. He has actually, 1 for 9 yards so far tonight. As Richardson will hand off Iniguez with some room there. Farnsey again meets him after a gain of 5. Here comes the hurry-up offense. We're under 5 minutes now, and LA knows they've got to get a move on if they want to stay in this one. Richardson rolls left side, looking left side, wide open. Bubba Tree first. No, they won't give him the first down. That might be a little bit questionable there. 3rd and inches here. You might see a run again to Iniguez out of the split set here. Vancouver pinching the line. No, Richardson will throw, going right side there. Out of the hands of Joseph Beaudet, who hasn't been able to bring in a catch so far tonight. 4th and inches, you got to go for it here.
Yeah, you have to. You got no say in the matter. And then what do you do, right?
High formation.
Go for the one.
Yeah. Dan Curtis at fullback and Ace Ketchum at halfback. They'll go with the pass. Richardson rolling right, has some time there. The block's held up. LZ Pryor with a big catch downfield. Big play there for LA. That was on a knife edge, but they managed to keep the drive and the game alive here. Richardson with the dump-off pass. Curtis with his first involvement of the game gets -3. Good tackle by DJ Woods. They'll bring it back to the line quick. No time to cry over spilled milk here if you're LA. Richardson rolling left, going deep right, intercepted. Emmanuel Blackman puts his stamp on the game. He's injured. He's going to have to be looked at by the physios, unfortunately. And that's a very sad thing to see for someone who's just made such a huge play in the game, but a big interception for this Legion defense.
Yeah, and that could very easily be the nail in the coffin. I mean, let's be honest here. They're going to probably run it out from here. But that's what you're expecting to see. Remember, we talked about really good teams, winning teams, close out football games. And, you know, they had to go for it. They had to throw a deep pass. But, you know, just threw it too low under the man coverage and came down with it.
Mark Lopez saying he sacrificed his life for that interception, and I suppose, you know, in some ways you might have to consider that a trade worth it. You know, if it gets you to 4-0, here's Lloyd brought down in the backfield for no gain. Good tackle there by number 22 Ryan Yosef.
Well, in my best, you know, British sports announcer voice, the true greats find victory at any cost.
I don't know if I've heard that one yet. I might have to listen to some more soccer broadcasts or something. We're getting salutes in the chat. Everyone, the guard of honor coming out for Emmanuel Blackman, carried off the field on the stretcher on the cart. You know, he's getting the the salute for his sacrifice, as Christian Brown says in the chat. A good run there by J.W. Doyle, pick up 9 yards. 3rd and 1 now for Vancouver as they look to close out this one.
Yeah, everybody's saluting and people are crying. He's like, I'm not dead, guys. I'm just injured. I'll be back. And as he goes down the tunnel, he's still yelling and his voice is trailing off.
They got some guy on the sidelines with a club to hit him on the head so they can pile him on the dead bodies cart, huh?
Bring out your dad.
See, we're referencing everything tonight. We got, you know, Star Trek, we got Monty Python, we got Lord of the Rings. We got it all here, folks. If you're a nerd, you are in the right place.
We do, yeah, absolutely.
3rd and 1. It's going to be that pitch to Lloyd on the right side here. We'll see if LA can react to it in time. Oh, tackle broken. That Lloyd stiff arm, it's rated E for everyone, all right. Everyone getting a taste of the palm tonight. Talk to the hand, baby.
Absolutely. I'm going to flip a coin, call it in the air. Head, call it in the air. Go.
Oh, I'll call it in the air. Okay, tails never fails, so tails.
Your life was spared by Thanos. Good job.
I always knew it. I knew I'd survive. I had no doubts. 1st down and 10 here for Vancouver as they look to close out this game. It's been a solid performance for sure. Probably not at the heights they saw last week against Chicago, but it's been a solid performance. You know, Christian Brown, 17 of 31 for 211 yards, passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks either. You know, this offensive line continues its fantastic form. Jalen Wells getting close to 100 yards rushing on the ground. It's a big reward for him. Devin Lloyd's over 50 as well. John Michael Sudduth is close to 100 yards receiving. You know, it's been an all-around good performance here from the Legion. As we hit the 2-minute warning, this one's almost over, but don't go anywhere just yet, folks. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back to Canada. It seems like a few stray Colts fans have somehow managed to sneak their way into Canada Field here. Unfortunately for them, they're probably freezing their butts off. Brandon Walters alongside Jesse Long in the booth with you. Mike Daggs and JW Hartshorn doing the stats for us. They've been furiously scribbling all game long as that one's a big tackle for loss there. LA will call their first timeout. Cameron Irvine producing as always from SFL headquarters. And this one's just about ready to finish up here. Jesse, you know, both these teams after this one, I believe, get to go on to the bye week. Yes, they both got a bye week upcoming here. So, you know, both these teams get a chance to breathe and reset here. You know, for LA, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of looking at, you know, what needs to change, what they need to do to get back into that fight for 3rd place in the division and, you know, that potential playoff spot. And if you're Vancouver, you know, what do you need to keep fine-tuning to keep this team rolling with that unbeaten record? As Brown rolls out of the pocket beautifully. Oh, Ezekiel Bear with a great catch. He's got a touchdown. Well rewarded for his work so far tonight. He's been easily the 2nd best wide receiver in the corps tonight behind John Michael Sudduth, and he gets rewarded with a huge touchdown. Christian Brown making it look easy.
Well, for those of you whose fantasy team was already winning, now you got a couple more points out of it. You know, you mentioned LA. LA had a tough assignment win. So Richardson knew that going in. These players knew that going in. And, you know, if you take that score that just happened out of the equation, LA won this game by just... It wasn't really a runaway. It wasn't really a score every time we got the ball. It was kind of okay, we got the ball, we scored, this is the situation. Right? They just kind of got the ball and they won. Like, it really wasn't that they lost the game because they weren't the better team. It was just that they lost the game because they just kind of couldn't get whatever they were planning going. So I think, like I said, LA is a team that fights. LA is a team that keeps going. This is not a team that's just going to lay down because they're 1-3. They're going to find a solution, find a way. They're going to keep a really big breakaway there.
Talk about, continuing to fight and find a way there. I thought Bubba Tree was about to break one loose there for a huge kickoff return as they'll start at the 33-yard line. LA's got one more chance to put some points up on the board here, cut that deficit down a little bit more. But, I mean, Christian Brown, really putting the cherry on top of his Sunday so far today. Ezekiel Bear over 100 yards receiving now. It's really just a good day all around, I think, at the Vancouver office. But there's always something that you can improve. And, speaking as a coach with a lot of experience of how it is and that mindset, there's always something to tweak and improve to keep moving forward.
Well, the most important part, like you said, is you can't get comfortable with how well you're doing. You can't get comfortable with every time you're winning, right? Because you have to say, you always have to be improving. You always have to walk into every game knowing that this team could beat you. So for Vancouver, they went into this game with that mentality. This is a business win, just business as usual. We rescue the princesses for a living, right? Go in, get the princess, and get out. And that's what they did. They fought they haven't fought the Dragons yet. Let's see if they're on the schedule. Let's see.
They might be. You never know. But, yeah, I mean, I was talking to Andy Hamilton, and he said, go in wanting to be 1-0. That's the view, Every team deserves an equal amount of respect, and every time we go in, we're looking to prove that we want to be 1-0. It's never about the record as a full. Oh, unfortunate for Chris Lee there. I thought he had a nice catch over the middle of the field there, but Sully's still continuing to sling the ball and move it well here. It really seems like that interception hasn't phased him, and a quarterback of his caliber, I know that he's able to put it behind him quickly and continue trying to move this ball, and I'm sure that's what he and his coaching staff are looking to do over the bye week as well, because they've got some games coming up here that are going to be pretty key to the rest of their season. They've got a big game up against Sin City, who just won tonight, got their first win of the season. That'll be 2 1-3 teams going at it there, and if they get that win over Sin City, they're in a much better position in the division.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of good spots to see if you're on LA's defense. I mean, Tazzy Blackwell, she had 7 tackles, 2 for a loss. Ward had 8 tackles, Van Scott had 6. They were, tackling for the loss. They were batting down passes. They were forcing fumbles. There are bright spots to see on this team going in. And, sometimes you put up the best plan that you can, and it just kind of doesn't end up working. So, like you said, it's all about going back to the drawing board, seeing what you have, seeing what's good, seeing what's not good, and kind of just like chipping away at, it's removing the parts that are not the statue, right? It's just like the statue of David. Michelangelo said that it's not about sculpting David, it's in removing the parts of the marble that were not David. So I think that's what they're going to do here.
Can I just say, great pass by Sully Richardson there, beautifully lobbed over the head of the cornerback to Chris Lee there, and he's putting on a show for the remaining traveling fans here at Canada Field tonight. He wants to make sure that they feel like they at least got their money's worth out of their ticket. I would say they already did, but ever the showman. An interception there. I jinxed it. Commentators curse there. Michael Lister with a nice pick, the second of the game for Richardson, and that will close the game out almost certainly.
Look, that is our people. It is the way we are. It's the way we have always been. Jinxing those. Yeah. That's, sometimes you just... And a lot of times, too, when you have a loss going, you kind of experiment a little bit. Let's try this. Let's see what happens with that. We've got Vancouver here. We've got their team out here. Let's see if something works against them. And maybe you might see them again down the road. Maybe in the playoffs.
You never know. Looking at Vancouver's schedule after their bye week next week, they've got Houston in Houston, which is going to be a big game. I think that's going to have some severe implications on the playoff race, potentially for both these teams. We might see Vancouver finally have to tack on that first L in their win-loss columns of the season against them, and then they go on to play Sin City as well, and then Mexico City right after that. So neither of these teams really get too much time to settle in, but I think Both of them are going to get to take a little bit of a breather after this game in particular and reset for that second big stretch of the season.
And in this league, like, you never like want to call a team like, a Division I and Division II team, right? You never want to say one team's in this league over the other. But Los Angeles has, after the bye week, they got Sin City, they're 0-3. You've got Lexington, they're 2-1. Trail Warriors. I haven't seen the prior contest, so I know they probably played this week too. But you've got winnable games against teams that are kind of in your wheelhouse. And getting wins in those and evening out your record, that can go a long way for your team's confidence down the road.
Almost an interception there for one of the defenders for the Lycans, number 45. I think that's their the guy that we talked about a second ago. I can't find him now. Yes. Where'd he go?
Where did he go? He went to number 45, though. Eaton Moss. The old 45.
Yeah, no, you're right. I totally lost it on the roster. Man, they need to get me to bed. I should not be up this late. A nice punt there.
Yeah, go ahead.
That will,
please.
I was just gonna say, nice punt, and Sully gets one last chance to try and air it out here before the game will be over. Trying to add on some stats.
Well, I think the solution is to appeal to the commissioner and see if we can activate the 25-point play. It's in the vault somewhere, right? Like, you only use it once, like your entire existence. It's like a spear call.
Unfortunate for Iniguez, forced behind the line. They'll give him one on the forward progress. What do you think it would qualify as a 25-point play? I think you'd have to like catch it and then run back to your end zone and then run to their end zone and then run back to your end zone and then run to their end zone again, right?
I think you're overthinking. What you do is you find a phone booth and you get out in a cape and you throw the football at least 4 times around the planet. So that should at least add up to like 4 touchdowns.
Okay. Well, if I see Sully tear off his jersey and reveal his Superman S underneath, I think we might have a shot at that. Fans still in it here at Canada Field. That one really not going anywhere. There was a bit of traffic, and Farnsey, I think, pretty much just stuck out his big chest and blocked that one.
Yeah, definitely, for sure here. And, if you're an LA fan and you're watching this, like, don't be discouraged, because, yes, it's 1-3, but you've still got that one in the front. And just work on it. Like, the season's not over. A lot of zany and wild stuff can happen throughout the year, and there's still very much a shot at getting into the playoffs. And even if you just get that, very, very bottom seed, there have been bottom seeded teams in a football league in an alternate timeline that have been the lowest seed and won a championship. So it can definitely happen.
Ron Hoff puts LZ Pryor into the turf and puts the final nail in this one here. 30 minutes, and Vancouver will come out in that Vancouver-style victory V formation to run out the final clock here. That should be the last play of this one. And, I mean, it's been a good one. I think it was a very tight game in the first half, Jesse, and we saw, a little bit of a rally in the second from LA when they found a bit more of that offensive spark. But unfortunately, I think it's a matter of execution. LA executes sometimes, Vancouver executes almost every time, and it's a hard gap in quality to bridge that sometimes.
And they execute the way they have to when they have to.
Absolutely. Vancouver at home takes home a 34-10 win over the Los Angeles Lycans and moves up to 4-0 in the season. As we will get a good look at the stats here for you tonight. I mean, it really was a comprehensive performance at the end of the day for Vancouver. Christian Brown in particular with a great game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. This LA defense still really needs to be able to turn the ball over, and unfortunately hasn't been able to figure out how to do so just yet.
And Vancouver pitched a strong, clean game. It's very hard to beat good teams that when they're on their game, pitch a strong, clean, mistake-free contest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for my partner Jesse Long, for Mike Daggs, JW Hartshorn, and Cameron Irvine, I'm Brandon Walters saying so long, good evening. We'll see you all on Monday.
See ya!